Hey yo guys, it's your boy MidnightSnorlax and we back again playing Q, also known as cards, the universe and everything. So let's select deck, and for this video we're gonna be doing the part 2 of the road to rank 1 dragon, and we're gonna be using the cultural phenomenon deck. So with that said, let's go start and play the game. And also, if you guys want to see part 1 and part 2, you could check up here, or you could go visit the channel and check my videos in there. So with that said, let's go start playing the game. So right now I am rank 8 blue whale. I think yesterday I played and tried to record, but my phone suddenly shut down, so I didn't get to save the record. But we're here, rank 8 blue whale, and then we're still searching for opponent. And yeah, I hope that we could win this one so that we could move on to the next rank. So let's go. Now we found an opponent and we're going inside the game. Okay, now we're here at the history arena. So for the history arena, my Queen Victoria and Prince Albert activate its ability, giving +1 energy cost to all of the cards in hand to my enemy side. So I'm gonna be using Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, and then I'm gonna be using the Sanctuary of Delphi, and I'm gonna be using the Sushi, so that if we win this round we could gain +30 energy points permanently. So the Komodo Castle deducts our cards on hand, 18 points. So apparently we have the disadvantage. That was a good strategy though for starters, so that your opponent's card in the early round will be deducted. So I'm going to be using Berserker so that we could gain a +26 permanently when the card returns. And then I'm going to be using the Alexander the Great, so we could gain +2 energy cost. And then I'm going to be using Taekwondo. So we have 140, our opponent has 49. And then the ability of Martin Luther King Jr. to our enemy side gains +20 to all of the cards in hand. So we barely made it. Our opponent has more advantage and we have the disadvantage. So let's see in the last turn if we could make it to the other side. So I'm gonna be using the Caravaggio, so that if ever we lose, we could burn 9 energy points to our opponent's cards in hand. And then I'm going to be using the sandwich theory, so we gain +30 to all except for sandwich theory. And I'm going to be using this eggs Benedict, or I'm going to be using a Spartan helmet since it has 82 energy points. So we have 160, our opponent has 133. We have a deduction of 20, so we have 140 and our opponent's 133. We have the advantage and we didn't reach the line, nor we didn't reach the middle part, so we're gonna lose this round. Okay, now we're in the arts and culture arena. So in here, I'm gonna be using my cheese rolling, so we gain +200, and I'm gonna be using fencing. So we're gonna be ending the turn. So we have 350 and our opponent's 167. We have the advantage, and then we have a deduction of 80 points because that's the ability of cheese rolling. We gain +30, and then we have a -20, but later on it will go back. So now we have a deduction of 50 energy points here in our base power. So I'm gonna be using the RET. So we got +22 energy points to all of our cards, and then I'm gonna be using the Ackee and Saltfish so that we could gain +70 when the card returns. And then I'm gonna be using Martin Luther King Jr. +20 to all, and then we'll gain +1 energy cost if we win. So we have 144, our opponent's 183 +25. And then 233. So we have the disadvantage, but we still cross the enemy's side of the line. Okay, so now the Raphael activates its ability, and the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert activates its ability, burning the cards and then giving +1 energy cost to our opponent. So our cards got burned from our enemy's side. So we're gonna use Raphael, and then I think I'm gonna be using this one, the King Leonidas, and I'm gonna be using the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. So we have 89 and our opponent has 102. Now it's 122, but we still cross the enemy side of the line. So we have the advantage in here, and we won the round. So now we're in the space arena, and then our card is burning. So I'm gonna be using this Sanctuary of Delphi. I'm gonna be using Sushi, and then I'm gonna be using Berserkers. We have 171. Our opponent has 120. To the Komodo castles, all of our cards got deducted, but we still now we don't have the advantage in here. We have the disadvantage, but we're slightly close to the opponent's side of the line. So since our cards is burning, thanks to Century Egg, we gain +1 permanently. So since our cards are burning, I'm going to be using the Century Egg, and then I'm going to be using this Caravaggio. So if we lose this round, we're going to be burning their card. So our opponent has 61. +20 to all, thanks to Martin Luther King Jr. Our opponent has 121. And we have 114. We have the disadvantage. So the ability of Caravaggio activates, and it burns the remaining cards on hand of our opponent. So in here, we're gonna be using the Taekwondo, and I'm gonna be using this Sandwich Theory, or yeah, let's just use that one. So we are in a disadvantage in here. Yeah, we're in a disadvantage, and we lost this round because we have like 90 plus, and our opponent has 100 plus. So yeah, we lost this round. So now we're in the arts and culture arena, and for this strategy, I'm gonna be using the same strategy, the cheese rolling and then the fencing. So we have 350. So I want to use this Alexander the Great so that we could gain +2 energy cost. So we have 379, and then we have the advantage in here. I think our opponent has 200 plus, so we're in an advantage in here. So I'm going to be using this Ackee and Saltfish. We have 82 in here, and then I'm going to be using the eggs Benedict, and then I'm going to be using the RET. We have 170. Our opponent has 156 plus 13 to all, 195. So plus 25 to both of those cards, 245. Plus 20 again has 265. So we have the disadvantage, but we cross the enemy's side of the line again. We gain plus 70 energy points from the Ackee and Saltfish. Okay, now our Raphael activates its ability, burning 3 of the opponent's cards in there, and then the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert activates its ability, giving +1 energy cost. So I'm going to be using the Raphael. Then I'm going to be using this combo, the King Leonidas and the Spartan helmet. So we have 124. Our opponent has already 24 in there. And then now he has 214 plus 10 to all of the Ocean and Seas card. Has 200 plus. So we are in a disadvantage in here. So we lost this round. That was a good game. Cards was great, and I like the strategy wherein the Komodo castle, I think, or that Japanese castle deducts 18 energy points to our cards. So that's a good game. Let's give a good game. So now we're gonna be playing the second game. So let's go here, select deck. We haven't earned any shields yet, but let's see in the next game if we could earn shields or if we can win, because we only have like 11 hours before the cards would, or this gameplay will restart. So maybe we can't reach the rank 1 if we won't play. So thanks to the Century Egg, it activates its ability, giving +1 to all of the cards. Our opponent's card burnt our cards. So I'm gonna be using this, since we're in the history arena, I'm gonna be using the Sanctuary of Delphi. I'm gonna be using the RT. So we have +22 energy points to all of our cards, and then I'm gonna be using this King Leonidas. So we have 204. Our opponent's 133. We have the advantage in here. So we're waiting for our opponents to draw their card. So I'm gonna be using the Berserkers. And then I'm gonna be using this Spartan Helmet. We have 89 points. And I'm going to be using this Sandwich Theory. So we have 157 energy points. Our opponent's 106. The Chameleon give 60 energy points. And then 50 energy points from the Horse Head and Nebula. So our opponent has the advantage, but we cross the enemy side of the line. So we gain +26 energy points from the Berserkers. So we gain again +1 permanently to the Century Egg. So for this, I'm gonna be using the this one, Century Egg, and I'm gonna be using the Eggs Benedict because it's burning. So we have 106. Our opponent has 155 +20 to all, 215. So our opponent has the advantage, and our opponent on this round. So now we're in the arts and culture arena. So our Raphael card activates his ability, burning all of the cards in hand of our opponent's side. So I'm going to be using this Taekwondo, the Raphael card, and then the Martin Luther King Jr. So we have 205. Our opponent has 148, +10 to all, 178. So we have the advantage in here. So Taekwondo deducts 1 energy cost from its own card. So let's play. This Queen Victoria and Prince Albert adds up energy cost to all of the cards on hand to our opponent's side. So we're going to be using this Sushi. Now I'm going to be using this Ackee and Saltfish so that when it returns we'll gain +70, and then I'm going to be using this Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. Or I'm just going to be using this one, the Alexander the Great. So we could gain +2 energy cost. So we have 143. Our opponent has 68. So they're going to be doing the Spartan combo, 122. So we have the advantage in this turn. So we gain +30 permanently to our Sushi. So in here, I'm gonna be using the Caravaggio in case if we lost, we could burn our opponent's card in hand, and I'm gonna be using Sanctuary of Delphi, and I'm gonna be using the Ackee and Saltfish so that we could gain +70 when the card returns. So we have 100. Our opponent has 87. +20, 107. So we have a deduction point. We have 80, but we still went to our opponent's side, and we won. We still won this round. Okay, so we have 1 loss and 1 win. So let's see if we could win in here in the Space Arena. So in here, I'm going to be using the cheese rolling. So we gain plus 200 energy points. I'm going to be using the fencing, and then I'm going to be using the RT. So we have 433 points. Our opponent has already 34 base power, and then now has 175. We have the advantage in here, and then the cheese rolling activates its ability. We have a deduction of 80 points. And then thanks to fencing, we have 30 points additional. It will go back. We have a deduction of 46 base power or energy points. So in here, I'm going to be using the Spartan combo. Let's wait first for opponent. So I think in here, I'm going to be using the Spartan combo. And then I'm going to be using this Berserkers. So we have 113. Our opponent has 41. We have the advantage in this round. So the Berserkers gain plus 26 permanently, and then we won. We're gonna win this round if our opponent won't think of any strategy. So the Raphael activates its ability, burning all of the cards on hand in our opponent's side of the card. So let's use this Raphael. Let's use this, or let's just use this Century Egg and the Eggs Benedict. So that's it. We have 107. So our opponent lose this turn, didn't put any cards in their gameplay or in their set. So we won this round. So if we win this round, we could gain 1 shield. So let's use this Taekwondo. I'm gonna be using Raphael, and I'm gonna be using the Sushi, so that we could gain plus 30 permanently. So we have 246. Our opponent has 149. So thanks to the clown they already have plus 20 to all, but we have the advantage in it. So we gain plus 30 permanently, and let's see. Okay, the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert activate its ability, giving all plus 1 energy cost, and our opponent's Raphael activates its ability, burning our cards. So I'm going to be using the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, and I'm going to be using Caravaggio in case if we lose this round. And then I'm going to be using the Martin Luther King Jr. to give all plus 20. So we have 153, our opponent has 110. Plus 50 to the Horse Nebula, 160, plus 60 to the Chameleon, 220, plus 10 to all, 250. So we're in a disadvantage in here. And now Caravaggio activates his ability, burning the remaining cards on hand, or the remaining cards. So in here, I'm going to be using the Sanctuary of Delphi, and then the Alexander the Great. So we have 71. Our opponent's energy points at 66. We have the advantage, but we didn't reach the other line, so we lost this round. So this is the last round. Wait for our opponent. Okay, so I'm gonna be using this cheese rolling, and then I'm gonna be using this fencing, and then I'm gonna be using this RET, so we can gain plus 22 to all. So we have a 503 energy points. Our opponent used the Spartan combo, so gain 196 energy points. So we are in an advantage in here. So the cheese rolling activates its ability, deducting 80 energy points. And then overall we have 46, a deduction of 46 energy points. So in here, I'm going to be using the Ackee and Saltfish. Let's wait first for our opponent. Okay, so let's use Ackee and Saltfish, and then let's use the Spartan Helmet, and then the King Leonidas. So we have the Spartan combo, and we have 168 energy points. Let's wait for opponent and see how many energy points do he or she have. So it has 215 energy points. Okay, then we have a deduction of 20, so 148. Our opponent has 200 plus, but we still have the advantage in it. So our Ackee and Saltfish gain plus 70 energy points permanently. Okay, for the last turn, I'm gonna be ending it with the Century Egg, and then I'm gonna be ending it with Eggs Benedict. So we have 138, and then I'm gonna be putting Taekwondo. So we have 238. Our opponent has 186. So thanks to the Mosasaurus, our opponent gained an additional energy points for the polar bear. So we still have the advantage in here, and we win this round. Okay, we gain our first shield of the day. So only 2 more left so that we could be rank 7. Next, that was a great game. Great deck. Okay, let's play another game of League. So let's go. Hope we could win this one so that we could move on to rank 7. So starting up, we're in the arts and culture terrain. So our Century Egg activates its ability, giving +1 to all of our cards permanently. So I'm gonna be starting up with Sushi so that we could gain +30 permanently if we win this round for this turn. And I'm gonna be using Spartan Helmet, and then I'm gonna be using Martin Luther King Jr. So we have 185. Our opponent is 104. Gains +10, 114. And gains +20, 134. So we have the advantage in here. So we gain +1 energy cost, and we gain +30 energy points. And then our opponent gained +100 energy points from the card. So our Raphael activates its ability, burning all of the card in hand to our opponent's side. So in here, I'm going to be using the Raphael. I'm going to be using Ackee and Saltfish so that we could gain +70 in return, and we're going to be using the Taekwondo. So we have 174, and our opponent has 144. +32 energy points, our opponent has 176. So our opponent has the advantage, but we still cross the enemy side of the line. So we gain +70 permanently to the Ackee and Saltfish. For this, I'm going to be using the Century Egg and the Berserkers. So we have 159. Our opponent has 80. So we have the advantage in here, and we won this round. And we gain +26 permanently. Okay, we won this round, and then now we're in the history arena. So for the history arena, I'm gonna be using the cheese rolling and then the fencing. So we have 332, and then I'm gonna be using the King Leonidas. So we have 376. Let's wait for our opponent. Our opponent has 208. So +70 to all. 348. So we have the advantage in here. And then our cheese rolling activates its ability, deducting 50 points. So it will go back. Now we have a deduction of 50 energy points. So in here, my Queen Victoria and Prince Albert activates its ability, giving +1 to random cards of my enemy's cards on hand. So I'm going to be using the RT, and then I'm going to be using Sanctuary of Delphi, and then I'm going to be using the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. So we have 158, our opponent has 121. So we have the advantage for this turn. Okay, so now we're gonna be using this, the Alexander the Great, so that we could gain +2 energy cost, and then I'm gonna be using the Caravaggio in case if we lost, and then I'm gonna be using this Martin Luther King Jr. so that we could gain +20 to all. So we have 97. Our opponent has 191. So we are in a disadvantage in here, and we lost the round. But we burned the remaining card of our opponent. Now we're moving on to the Space Arena. Let's wait for our opponent. So my Raphael activates its ability, burning 4 cards in the opponent's hand. So let's use the Sushi, and then I'm going to be using Raphael, and I'm going to be using Sandwich Theory. So we have 224, our opponent has 262, gains +10 to both cards, and +20 to both cards, 322. So we are in a disadvantage in here. Let's see if we could catch up. So in here, I'm going to be using the Ackee and Saltfish. And then I'm going to be using the Taekwondo. And then the Eggs Benedict. So we have 192. Our opponent has 91. So we're in an advantage in here. We're slightly, I think, in the middle. I'm not sure if we're in the middle, but we haven't won this rounding. I think we don't have the advantage in here. So let's start. Let's wait for opponent. Okay, so let's start using the Berserkers. And then I'm gonna be using the Century Egg. And I'm gonna be using Spartan Helmet. So we have 213. Our opponent has 161. And then gains +32, 193. So we have the advantage in here, and we won the round. Then we gain +26 in return permanently. Okay, now we're in the Arts and Culture Arena. So for this, I'm gonna be using the cheese rolling, and then I'm gonna be using the fencing. So we have 354. Our opponent has 190. So we have the advantage in here. But the cheese rolling activates its ability. We have a deduction of 80 points. We have 20, but it will return back to 50. So we have a deduction of 50 points for this round. So I'm gonna be using this RT. The Queen Victoria and Prince Albert activates its ability. So I'm gonna be using this RT. So we will gain +22 to all. I'm gonna be using this Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, and then I'm gonna be using this Sanctuary of Delphi. So we have 148. And our opponent has 270, and then now our opponent has 400 plus energy points. So we are in a disadvantage in here. since we're gonna be losing this round, I'm gonna be using Caravaggio so that we could deduct the remaining cards of our opponent. I'm gonna be using the Alexander the Great so we could gain +2 energy cost, and then I'm gonna be using Martin Luther King Jr. So our opponent has 228, we have 87, we have the disadvantage. In the Caravaggio activates its ability, burning the remaining cards of our opponent. So we are at the draw. I have 2 losses and then I have 2 wins. So let's see if we could catch up and win this last round. Our Raphael activates his ability, burning all of the cards in hand for opponents. So I'm going to be using the Ackee and Saltfish, and I'm going to be using the Sushi, and then I'm going to be using the Sandwich Theory. So we have 333, our opponent has 250, and now 270, and now 290, but we still have the advantage in here. And we gain +70 permanently, and +30 permanently. So for this, I'm going to be using the Taekwondo, the Berserkers, and then the Raphael. So we have 241, our opponent is 229, gains +20 to both sides, so gain 226. So I think we have the advantage here. Okay, we gain +26 permanently. So for the last turn, I'm gonna be using this Century Egg, and then the Spartan combo, which is King Leonidas, and the Spartan helmet. We have 251, and our opponent has 248. Gains +32, 280. So we're in a disadvantage in here. So we're slightly there, we're close, we lost this round. So that's it for now. We just win and lose, win and lose. Our opponent in here has a great card. I like the butterfly combo that they have, wherein his butterfly card gains like 100+ energy points, and then it's all returning back. So that's it for today. I'm gonna be making soon. For the next video, I'm gonna be making part 3. So with that said, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like and comment down below. Ring the notification bell so you guys will be notified for new updates. And with that said, thanks for watching and bye.